Eli adjusted his glasses nervously as he stepped out of the hovercab onto the bustling streets of Neo-Arcadia. The city shimmered with neon lights, towering buildings, and drones zipping past on errands. It was Saturday evening, but the streets were alive with chatter, music, and the faint hum of hoverboards. Eli wasn't used to these kinds of crowds. He was an engineer, not a social butterfly, and he much preferred the quiet hum of machines in his lab to the constant noise of human chatter. Still, today he had promised himself he would try something new. Or, rather, he had been tricked into it. His best friend, Jax, had called him earlier in the week with a certain mischievous tone. "Trust me, Eli," Jax had said. "You're going to love this event. It's perfect for someone like you." Eli had been skeptical. "Perfect for someone like me? You mean someone who likes tinkering with circuits and avoids social interactions?" "Exactly," Jax had laughed. "It's a networking event for inventors. You meet people, talk about your projects, maybe even find collaborators. That's it. No pressure. I promise." So Eli had agreed. And now he found himself standing outside the Nexus Cafe, a sleek, AI-managed hub designed for mingling, creativity, and relationship testing. He hadn't noticed the last part when Jax had excitedly described it. Taking a deep breath, Eli pushed open the doors. The interior was futuristic yet cozy. Holographic tables floated mid-air, and soft neon lights changed colors depending on the mood of the room. An AI greeter hovered near the entrance, projecting a warm smile. "Welcome, Eli. Your compatibility session begins in 10 minutes, it said in a gentle, melodic voice. Eli frowned. "Compatibility session?" he muttered under his breath. He thought this was supposed to be a networking event. Before he could process this, someone waved from across the room. Eli's heart skipped a beat. She was standing there, casually leaning against a table, her expression calm but curious. Lyra, his best friend Jax's ex. Eli froze. Memories rushed back, the laughter they had shared, the late-night debates, and the occasional awkward silences that had always felt strangely comforting. And then there was the heartbreak. Jax and Lyra had dated for 3 years before breaking up, and Eli had spent most of that time acting as the neutral friend who listened and offered advice. Seeing her here, in a setting he didn't even understand, felt like stepping onto a stage he wasn't prepared for. "Eli?" Lyra said, raising an eyebrow. "I didn't expect to see you here." Hey," Eli stammered, scratching the back of his neck. Lyra smiled faintly. "Seems like we're both in for a surprise then," the AI's voice interrupted from above. "Participants Eli and Lyra, please proceed to the designated table. Compatibility session initiated." Eli glanced at Lyra, panic rising. What does that even mean?" Lyra shrugged, her curiosity evident. "Apparently, they think we're compatible. For some reason. Shall we find out?" Eli hesitated but nodded. He didn't want to make a scene. Together, they approached a floating table that shimmered as it detected their presence. Holographic screens activated automatically, displaying their names and a series of prompts. "Welcome," the AI said. "This session will explore personality, preferences, and collaborative potential. Please answer honestly." Lyra raised an eyebrow, smirking. "Sounds intense," Eli muttered under his breath. "This is ridiculous." But the AI had already started, displaying a series of questions on the screen. The first few were simple. Favorite hobbies, preferred problem-solving methods, favorite types of food. Eli answered mechanically, thinking only of how quickly he could finish this awkward situation. Lyra's answers, however, were thoughtful and sometimes humorous, making Eli chuckle despite himself. "Okay, admit it," she said, noticing his smile. "You're enjoying this a little." Eli shook his head. "Maybe. Just a little. But I swear this is still weird." Lyra laughed softly. "Weird, yes. But also kind of fun, right?" The next round of questions was more unusual. The AI asked them to solve a small engineering puzzle together. arranging energy nodes to light up a holographic city efficiently. Eli's mind instantly went to work, analyzing circuits, calculating optimal paths, and adjusting connections. Lyra watched for a moment, then suggested a different route, one that relied more on intuition than calculation. "Trust me," she said. "Sometimes the most efficient solution isn't the one you can calculate." Eli frowned but tried her suggestion. To his surprise, it worked perfectly. The city lit up in vibrant colors, and the AI chimed happily. "Excellent collaboration detected," it announced. Eli blinked at Lyra. "Okay, maybe you're not completely useless after all," he said, half joking. Lyra grinned. "I could say the same about you." As the session continued, Eli felt a strange shift. The initial awkwardness between them was dissolving, replaced by the familiar rhythm of conversation and shared problem-solving. It reminded him why he had liked having Lyra around before. She had a way of seeing possibilities he often overlooked. A perspective grounded in creativity and human intuition. After the AI session ended, it projected a small holographic report. Eli glanced at it nervously. "High collaborative potential. Strong mutual compatibility. Recommended future sessions." He groaned. "Recommended future sessions? You're telling me I'm supposed to meet her again?" Lyra tilted her head, studying the hologram. Then she looked at Eli, her expression surprisingly calm. "Well, they're not wrong. I think we work pretty well together. Maybe it's worth seeing where this goes strictly as a partnership, of course." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Partnership, or something else?" Lyra smiled faintly, a shadow of her old warmth returning. "Let's just see how the next session goes." Before he could respond, Jax appeared in a corner of the cafe, pretending to be busy with a holo tablet. He waved slyly at Eli and Lyra, clearly amused by the scene he had orchestrated. Eli's jaw tightened. "I knew this would happen," Jax muttered under his breath, though loud enough for Eli to hear. "You two always bounce off each other. I just sped up the process." Lyra's eyes narrowed at Jax, though there was amusement there too. "You really planned this?" Jax shrugged innocently. "Call it human experimentation." Eli groaned and turned back to Lyra. "Well, thanks for whatever this is. I guess we're in this together now." Lyra extended her hand. "Partners?" Eli hesitated, then shook it firmly. "Partners." The AI chimed again, projecting a soft glow over the table. "Session complete. Future collaboration highly recommended." Eli leaned back in his chair, exhaling slowly. He had walked into what he thought was a simple networking event, but he had ended up face-to-face with someone from his past, working together in ways he hadn't anticipated. And yet, he couldn't help but feel a spark of excitement. Maybe this blind date, whatever it was, wouldn't be so bad after all. As the cafe buzzed around them, Eli realized something important. Sometimes, life's most unexpected pairings could lead to the most interesting journeys, and perhaps, just perhaps, humans had a way of surprising even the most advanced AI. The morning sun barely pierced through the smog of Neo-Arcadia as Eli stepped into his workshop. His small lab smelled of metal, solder, and a hint of burnt circuits, a scent he found oddly comforting. He was supposed to focus on his current project, a new energy-efficient drone for city deliveries. But his mind kept wandering back to Lyra and the strange events at the Nexus Cafe. "Partners," he muttered under his breath, shaking his head. He had never imagined that 4 simple words could carry so much weight. Not a romantic promise, not yet, but an acknowledgement that they were something. Something more than awkward strangers. His holopad beeped, jolting him from his thoughts. A message flashed on the screen. "Lyra. Morning. Eli. I hope you're ready for the first real task of our collaboration. Meet me at the Central Innovation Hub in 30 minutes. Eli frowned. Central Innovation Hub? That was one of the most advanced research facilities in the city, designed for top engineers and scientists. He wasn't sure why Lyra had called him there. 30 minutes later, Eli arrived. The hub was a colossal building, with glass walls reflecting the neon city. Drones zipped past, carrying equipment, and a soft hum of machines filled the air. Lyra was already waiting by a set of transparent doors, holding a tablet. "Good morning," she said, smiling. "I hope you slept well." "Mostly," Eli replied, trying to hide his nerves. "I still don't know why I'm here. I thought we were just doing small tasks?" Lyra's smile widened. "Small tasks are for beginners. Today, you're helping me with the Intuition Interface project." Eli blinked. Intuition Interface? It's a system that combines human thought patterns with AI assistance to solve complex problems faster, Lyra explained. Think of it as giving humans an AI-enhanced sense of intuition. I've been stuck on the latest prototype, and I think you're the person who can help me. I. Eli hesitated. The last thing he expected when he agreed to a compatibility test was to be recruited for a top-secret scientific project. But the thought of working with Lyra, and the challenge itself, sparked something inside him. "All right," he said finally. "I'll give it a shot." Lyra led him through the massive lab to a workstation filled with wires, holographic screens, and a sleek, humanoid AI assistant. The AI's soft blue light blinked as it greeted them. "Good morning, Lyra." "Good morning, Eli." "System status. Optimal. Ready for collaboration." Eli took a deep breath and approached the console. "So, where do we start?" Lyra pointed to a holographic model of a small robot hovering above the table. "The interface needs calibration. The AI can predict solutions based on data, but the human element is missing. That's where you come in. Your engineering skills are key to making the system truly intuitive." Eli frowned. "Human element? You mean it can't think creatively?" "Exactly," Lyra said, her eyes twinkling. "It can crunch numbers, run simulations, and suggest outcomes, but it can't feel the unexpected. Notice patterns we don't see, or make a leap of imagination. That's what humans do best. You, for example." Eli blinked. He wasn't used to being praised so directly. He nodded and leaned over the console, fingers flying over the holographic controls. The AI projected a sequence of circuits, nodes, and connection patterns that needed adjustment. Lyra watched him for a moment. "You're fast, but sometimes you overthink," Eli grunted, adjusting a node. "Overthink? I call it thorough planning." "Planning is good," Lyra replied. "But intuition is better when it comes to unpredictable outcomes. They work together, each complementing the other." Eli calculated and analyzed, while Lyra suggested unexpected approaches, ideas that seemed illogical at first, but often worked perfectly. Slowly, the robot's movements became smoother, more fluid, until it navigated an obstacle course without a single misstep. The AI assistant chimed. "Collaboration optimal. Human intuition successfully integrated." Eli leaned back, wiping sweat from his forehead. "We actually did it." Lyra grinned. "See? I told you it would work." They took a short break, sitting on the edge of a raised platform that overlooked the lab. Outside, hovercars streaked through the city, and the sky glowed a pale blue. For a moment, neither spoke. The quiet felt comfortable, not awkward. "You know," Eli said finally, "I never imagined I'd be doing something like this with you. Or anyone, really. I'm not used to this kind of collaboration." Lyra tilted her head. "Neither am I. But it's nice, isn't it? How our skills actually fit together." Eli smiled faintly. "Yeah, it is." The AI assistant interrupted politely. "System alert. Unexpected anomaly detected in the interface. Test parameters." Eli's eyes widened. "An anomaly? What kind?" Lyra frowned, scanning the data. "It's subtle, but it could affect the calibration. We need to investigate immediately. Together, they dove back into the work, following the data trail through layers of code, circuits, and simulations. The anomaly was tricky, a glitch that seemed to appear only under certain conditions. Eli tried multiple solutions, but nothing worked. Lyra suggested an unconventional approach, reversing part of the data flow and letting the AI recalculate its predictions. Eli hesitated. That sounds risky. Where? Sometimes, Lyra said gently, you have to take a calculated risk. That's human intuition, not logic, not fear. Eli took a deep breath, trusting her judgment. He adjusted the system as she suggested. The robot blinked, paused, and then executed a perfect sequence, navigating even the most difficult obstacles flawlessly. The AI assistant chimed again. Anomaly corrected. Human-AI collaboration successful. Efficiency increased by 32%. Eli leaned back, laughing softly. I can't believe that actually worked. Lyra smiled, brushing a stray strand of hair behind her ear. You did it. We did it. For a moment, they just looked at each other, the hum of the lab around them fading into the background. Eli felt a warmth in his chest, a quiet realization that this partnership, unexpected, strange, and maybe a little awkward, was exactly where he was supposed to be. Just then, the AI assistant's voice broke the silence. Suggestion. Schedule future collaboration sessions to optimize interface development and human intuition integration. Eli groaned. Looks like we're stuck with each other. Lyra laughed. Looks like it. And honestly, I don't mind. Eli's stomach fluttered unexpectedly. He cleared his throat. Neither do I. The rest of the day passed in a blur of experiments, laughter, and gentle teasing. Eli and Lyra discovered small things about each other, the way Lyra hummed when she was thinking, the way Eli always double-checked every calculation even when it wasn't necessary, and how both of them could communicate without words in moments of high focus. By the time the sun dipped behind Neo Arcadia's skyline, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange, Eli realized something profound. This wasn't just about a project, or even about proving compatibility. This was about trust. About two humans learning to rely on each other's strengths, and about the magic that happened when logic met intuition. As they packed up for the evening, Lyra turned to him. Tomorrow, we tackle the final phase of calibration. And maybe, we can test the interface in a real-world scenario. Eli nodded. I'll be ready. And, I'm glad it's with you. Lyra smiled, a soft, genuine smile that made Eli's chest warm. Me too. Walking out of the lab together, Eli realized that the blind date at the Nexus Cafe had been far stranger than he had imagined, but somehow, it had led him to a place he hadn't expected. A partnership where his mind and heart both felt at home. And as the city lights flickered and the night hummed with possibilities, Eli knew one thing for certain. Sometimes, the most unexpected collaborations could change your life in ways you never saw coming. The next morning, Neo Arcadia was alive with movement. Hovercars streaked along the skyways, delivery drones zipped past, and the faint hum of machinery filled the air. Eli rubbed his eyes and checked his holopad for updates. Today, he and Lyra were scheduled to test the intuition interface in a real-world scenario, a simulated city environment designed to challenge human-AI collaboration. He arrived at the Central Innovation Hub 15 minutes early. The massive glass doors reflected the morning light, and inside, the lab buzzed with scientists, engineers, and assistants. Lyra was already there, her hair tied back, eyes sparkling with excitement. She waved him over. Morning, Eli, she said. I hope you slept well. Big day today. Eli nodded, feeling a mix of nerves and anticipation. I slept fine, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for real-world testing. Lyra smiled encouragingly. That's okay. No one ever is at first. But we'll handle it together. As they entered the simulation room, Eli's eyes widened. The space was enormous, a full-scale model of a futuristic city complete with moving vehicles, pedestrian holograms, and dynamic weather patterns. Rain could start suddenly, winds could shift, and unexpected obstacles could appear. It was designed to push the interface and its human operators to their limits. Lyra gestured to a sleek control console. "You'll be directing the interface from here. The AI will control the drone fleet, but your decisions will guide the system's intuition. Let's see how well humans and AI can work together under pressure." Eli swallowed and sat down. The console lit up with real-time data, maps, and sensor readings. Holographic drones hovered in the simulated city, each assigned to deliver packages, monitor traffic, or assist pedestrians. "Ready?" Lyra asked. "As I'll ever be," Eli replied. The simulation began smoothly. Drones navigated the streets, pedestrians crossed safely, and traffic flowed efficiently. Eli felt confident, guiding the AI when minor adjustments were needed. But then, the system detected an anomaly. A sudden downpour in one sector, causing pedestrian holograms to slip and drones to struggle with navigation. "Eli!" Lyra shouted over the hum of the simulation. "We need to adjust the flight patterns now, or the drones will collide." Eli's fingers flew over the controls, recalculating trajectories, adjusting energy outputs, and redirecting drones. Lyra suggested alternative paths, anticipating obstacles he hadn't noticed. They worked seamlessly, human intuition and AI precision complementing each other perfectly. But just as they began to relax, another challenge appeared. A group of holographic delivery robots malfunctioned, blocking a major intersection. The AI tried to reroute them, but the glitch caused further delays. "Eli, we need a creative solution," Lyra urged. Eli paused, thinking. Normally, he would have followed a step-by-step procedure. But Lyra's presence reminded him to trust his instincts. He noticed a narrow alley that wasn't part of the original plan. With a quick adjustment, he redirected the malfunctioning robots through it, clearing the intersection. The AI assistant chimed. "Anomaly corrected. Human intervention successful." Eli exhaled, leaning back in his chair. "That was intense," Lyra smiled. "See? You're learning to trust your instincts. That's the human element the AI can't replicate." The simulation continued with more challenges, unexpected obstacles, sudden changes in weather, and even a simulated power outage in part of the city. Each time, Eli and Lyra had to adapt quickly, combining calculation with intuition. By the end of the session, the AI reported that the human-AI collaboration had exceeded expectations. "Impressive," Lyra said. "You handled everything remarkably well." Eli smiled faintly, feeling proud. "I couldn't have done it without you." Lyra's expression softened. "And I couldn't have done it without you either. We make a good team." As they stepped out of the simulation room, Eli felt a strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. The day wasn't over yet. Lyra suggested they analyze the data from the simulation, hoping to refine the interface for the next test. They settled into a quieter room filled with holographic charts and projections. For a while, they worked in silence, each focused on their tasks, but the quiet soon became comfortable, and Eli found himself glancing at Lyra more often than he realized. "You know," Lyra said suddenly, breaking the silence, "I didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I am. Working with you? It's different." Eli raised an eyebrow. "Different good, or different bad?" Lyra laughed softly. "Different good. You think logically, but you're willing to take risks when needed. That's rare." Eli felt his cheeks warm. "Thanks, I think," Lyra smiled, leaning back in her chair. "I mean it. Most people would panic in the simulation. You adapt." Eli realized that for the first time, he wasn't just a skilled engineer, he was part of something bigger. Human intuition and creativity mattered. He and Lyra weren't just following instructions, they were making a real impact. As they continued, the holopad chimed with a new alert. Another anomaly appeared, this time in a sector with simulated emergency responders and civilian holograms. The challenge was subtle. A miscommunication between drones caused delays in response times. We need to intervene, Eli said, already scanning the system. Lyra nodded. Let's split tasks. You handle the drones. I'll coordinate the responders. They worked side by side, communicating efficiently. Eli rerouted drones while Lyra issued commands to responders. Slowly, the system stabilized, and the AI reported optimal performance. Excellent work, the AI assistant said. Human collaboration exceeded expectations. Efficiency increased by 47%. Eli leaned back, exhausted but smiling. I can't believe this. We actually did it. Lyra laughed softly. We did it together. As they packed up, Lyra looked at Eli thoughtfully. You know, I wasn't sure about this partnership at first. But now, I'm glad we're working together. You're reliable, smart, and you don't give up. Even when things get tough. Eli felt a warmth in his chest he couldn't ignore. I could say the same about you. You push me to trust my instincts, even when I'm unsure. They left the lab together, the city glowing beneath the evening sky. Hover cars streaked past, and the faint hum of drones filled the air. Eli realized how much he had changed in just a day. He was no longer just an engineer. He was part of a partnership built on trust, creativity, and mutual respect. Walking beside Lyra, he couldn't help but feel excited for the future. There were more tests, more challenges, and more opportunities to learn from each other. And maybe, just maybe, there was something deeper growing between them, something that went beyond collaboration and technology. For now, though, Eli focused on the present. He had a partner he could rely on, challenges that tested his mind, and a city full of possibilities. And as they reached the edge of the hub, Eli knew one thing for certain. The journey had only just begun. The sun rose over Neo-Arcadia, painting the sky with shades of pink and gold. Eli stepped out of his apartment, feeling a mixture of anticipation and unease. Today, he and Lyra were scheduled for the final phase of the Intuition Interface project, a live test across the city. Unlike the simulation, this test would involve real data, real traffic patterns, and real coordination between drones, emergency systems, and city infrastructure. Eli's stomach twisted. He had grown confident during the simulations, but he knew that real-world tests were unpredictable. A small error could disrupt traffic, delay deliveries, or worse, cause the AI to misinterpret instructions. He sighed, adjusting his holopad. Lyra was already waiting outside, leaning casually against her hoverbike. Her hair shone in the morning light, and she gave him a reassuring smile. Ready for the big test? She asked. Eli hesitated. I think so, but it's more serious than the simulations. I don't want to mess up. Lyra shook her head. Eli, you won't. We've learned how to combine logic and intuition. That's our strength. As they arrived at the Central Innovation Hub, a crowd of engineers and city officials were already monitoring the interface. The AI assistant projected a live map of the city, highlighting drone routes, pedestrian zones, and emergency pathways. Every sector had multiple variables, and Eli felt the weight of responsibility pressing down. Eli, you take Sector 5. I'll handle Sector 3, Lyra said. If anything unusual happens, we adapt together. Communication is key. Eli nodded, swallowing his nervousness. He settled into his console and activated the interface. Immediately, the city came alive in holographic form. Drones moved along their paths, pedestrians appeared, and traffic flowed. At first, everything went smoothly. Eli guided the drones with precision, while Lyra managed the emergency systems. But after a few minutes, an unexpected anomaly appeared. A section of traffic lights went offline, causing minor congestion. Eli. Lyra's voice was calm but urgent. You need to reroute the drones to avoid collisions. Eli's fingers flew across the console. He recalculated flight paths, redirecting drones to safer routes. The AI assistant provided suggestions, but he ignored some of them, trusting his instincts instead. Good call, Lyra said over the communicator. Sometimes the AI can't predict human patterns. As they continued, another complication appeared. A sudden delivery surge in Sector 7 threatened to overload the drone network. Eli considered following the AI's recommendation to delay the deliveries, but he remembered Lyra's words. Intuition matters. He quickly adjusted routes and schedules, balancing speed with safety. The AI assistant's voice chimed. Human intervention successful. Efficiency increased by 35%. Eli exhaled, leaning back slightly. We're actually doing it. Lyra's smile appeared through the holo communicator. I told you. We make a great team. But just as Eli began to relax, the final alert appeared. An anomaly in the central hub, affecting both sectors. The AI predicted a 30% chance of disruption if they continued without adjustment. Eli and Lyra exchanged a quick glance. This is it, Lyra said softly. We need to make a choice. We can follow the AI's suggestion and take a conservative approach, or we can trust our instincts and push the system to its full potential. Eli felt a pang of doubt. Following the AI meant safety, but it might limit the interface's full capability. Trusting intuition was risky, but it could demonstrate what human-AI collaboration could truly achieve. He glanced at Lyra. Her eyes were calm, confident, and encouraging. I trust you, she said simply. Eli's chest tightened. The weight of the decision pressed down, but her words gave him clarity. He nodded. Okay. We do it together. Full potential. They implemented their plan, overriding some of the AI's conservative parameters. Immediately, the interface responded to their commands. Drones and traffic systems adjusted dynamically, emergency pathways optimized, and deliveries reached their destinations faster than ever before. The city's efficiency skyrocketed. The AI assistant's voice was calm but impressed. Human-AI collaboration has exceeded expected parameters. Efficiency increased by 62%. Maximum performance achieved. End quote. Eli leaned back, a mixture of relief and exhilaration flooding him. We did it. We really did it. Lyra's smile was radiant. Yes, together. As the city lights reflected off the lab's glass walls, Eli realized that this test wasn't just about technology. It was about trust, collaboration, and the unique strengths humans bring to the table. The AI could calculate, simulate, and predict. But it couldn't feel intuition, adapt to nuance, or improvise the way humans could. Once the test concluded, city officials applauded, praising the human-AI partnership. But for Eli and Lyra, the real success was deeper than statistics or efficiency scores. They had learned to rely on each other, to communicate without hesitation, and to combine logic with intuition. After the celebration, Lyra turned to Eli. Her expression serious yet soft. Eli, I have to ask you something. Eli's stomach tightened. Somehow, he knew this question was important. Do you want to continue seeing each other? She asked, her voice quiet but firm. Eli blinked. The words hung in the air, and for a moment, he felt his mind freeze. He thought about the past few days, the collaboration, the laughter, the moments of connection, the trust they had built. His heart raced. Part of him wanted to say yes immediately, but another part hesitated, worried about the complications. Lyra was his best friend's ex, after all, and they were in a professional partnership. But then he looked at her. Her eyes were steady, filled with sincerity, and something inside him shifted. He realized that life was too short to let fear dictate choices, and some connections were too rare to ignore. Yes, he said finally, his voice calm but certain. I want to continue seeing you. Not just as a partner for the interface, but for everything. Lyra's face softened, and a small smile curved her lips. I'm glad, she said. I was hoping you'd say that. For a moment, they just stood there, letting the city hum around them. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows. But inside the lab, A quiet warmth surrounded them. "You know," Lyra said after a while, "this partnership, it works because we trust each other. And now, I think we can trust each other in other ways too." Eli nodded, feeling a sense of relief and joy he hadn't expected. "Yeah, we can." Later, as they walked through Neo Arcadia together, the city buzzing around them, Eli reflected on the journey. He had been tricked into a blind date. Unsure and nervous, he had faced simulations, anomalies, and unpredictable challenges. But in the process, he had discovered something far more valuable than any project or achievement. A connection built on trust, respect, and genuine understanding. For Eli, the choice was clear. Sometimes, the right decision wasn't the one dictated by logic, algorithms, or fear. It was the one that felt right in the heart. A choice that embraced both human intuition and the courage to take a leap of faith. And as he walked beside Lyra, feeling the quiet joy of shared accomplishment and newfound closeness, Eli knew that their story was only beginning. The future, uncertain and full of challenges, was theirs to face together. In that moment, Neo Arcadia didn't feel overwhelming or intimidating. It felt alive, full of possibilities, and full of hope. For Eli and Lyra, the choice had been made, and it was the right one. The next morning, Neo Arcadia glimmered under a pale blue sky. The city felt different to Eli as he walked beside Lyra. It wasn't just the soft hum of hover cars or the colorful neon reflections that caught his attention. It was the feeling that they were moving forward together, not as two individuals, but as partners in both life and work. The central innovation hub awaited them. Today was the day they would officially present the Intuition Interface to the city council, engineers, and innovators. It was a moment they had worked toward for weeks through simulations, anomalies, and real-world tests. Today, the project's success would be recognized, and the human-AI collaboration they had nurtured would become a model for the entire city. Eli adjusted his holopad nervously. "I hope everything goes well," he murmured. Lyra placed a hand on his shoulder. "It will. We've done all the preparation. And now, people will see what humans can do when we trust ourselves and each other." As they entered the presentation hall, Eli felt a wave of awe. The room was massive, filled with holographic screens, live city maps, and rows of seats occupied by city officials and engineers. A holographic banner read, "Human-AI Collaboration. The Future of Neo Arcadia." "Good morning, everyone," Lyra began, stepping confidently to the center. "We're here to demonstrate a project that combines human intuition with AI precision. The Intuition Interface isn't just technology, it's a partnership between humans and machines, designed to improve efficiency, safety, and creativity in our city." Eli joined her at the console, feeling the familiar hum of the interface. Drones, traffic systems, and emergency pathways lit up in holographic form. The AI assistant greeted them politely. "Good morning, Eli." "Good morning, Lyra." "System ready for public demonstration." ADI. Lyra nodded at him. "Shall we begin?" Eli took a deep breath and activated the interface. The city hologram expanded, showing live data from multiple sectors. Drones moved along optimized routes. Emergency systems responded to simulated incidents, and pedestrian traffic flowed smoothly. The audience watched in fascination as Eli and Lyra adjusted routes, resolved unexpected challenges, and coordinated drones in real time. The AI predicted outcomes, but Eli's and Lyra's human decisions ensured smooth solutions in moments the AI could not anticipate. "This is incredible," an official whispered to the person beside her. "The AI alone could never have done this. Human intuition, it's amazing." As the demonstration continued, a simulated storm appeared, complete with sudden rain and wind shifts. Holopedestrians reacted realistically, showing the impact of environmental changes. Eli and Lyra worked seamlessly, rerouting drones, adjusting delivery priorities, and optimizing emergency pathways. The audience gasped as the interface adapted flawlessly. Efficiency scores skyrocketed, surpassing previous records from simulations and tests. The AI assistant announced. Human-AI collaboration optimal. System performance exceeds expectations. Maximum potential achieved. Lyra turned to Eli, a triumphant smile on her face. We did it. Eli laughed softly, leaning back slightly. We really did. After the presentation, the audience erupted into applause. City officials approached, offering congratulations and asking questions about future applications. Eli and Lyra answered confidently, explaining the importance of trust, communication, and the human element. It wasn't just the technology that impressed people. It was their ability to work together, adapt, and innovate. Once the crowd dispersed, Eli and Lyra sat on the edge of a raised platform, watching the city hologram slowly fade. The hum of the lab around them felt peaceful. You know, Eli said, I never imagined that a blind date could lead to this kind of success. Lyra laughed softly. I know. It's strange how life works. One moment, we're awkwardly answering questions at a cafe, and the next, we're changing the way an entire city operates. Eli smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. I'm glad it happened with you. I trust you, more than I've trusted anyone before. Lyra's eyes softened. I feel the same way, Eli. We've learned to rely on each other in ways I never expected. Not just for work, but for everything. They sat quietly for a moment, letting the gravity of their journey sink in. The blind date, the unexpected collaboration, the simulations, and the real-world test had brought them closer than either of them could have imagined. They weren't just partners in a project, they were partners in life. Do you think Jax will ever forgive us for, well, everything? Eli asked with a small grin. Lyra laughed. He'll come around. He already knows we make a good team. And honestly, he wanted this to happen all along. Eli chuckled. I guess he did. I just hope he doesn't tease me too much about it. Lyra nudged him playfully. He probably will. But that's part of life, isn't it? Laughing, learning, and growing together. As they left the lab, the city outside seemed more vibrant than ever. People moved with purpose. Hover cars zipped through the skyways, and drones hummed softly, carrying packages and assisting pedestrians. Eli realized that the city itself was a reflection of human ingenuity and collaboration, the very principles he and Lyra had demonstrated. Walking side by side, Eli felt a deep sense of contentment. Life was unpredictable, messy, and sometimes challenging, but it was also filled with moments of joy, connection, and discovery. He had been tricked into a blind date, faced unexpected challenges, and learned to trust both his instincts and another person's. And in doing so, he had discovered something extraordinary. The power of human intuition, collaboration, and trust. Lyra turned to him, her eyes shining. So, what now? Eli thought for a moment, then smiled. Now, we keep building, we keep innovating, and we keep seeing each other because I want to. Lyra's smile widened. I want that too. Together, they walked through Neo-Arcadia, the city alive with possibility. Every drone, every hover car, every pedestrian reminded them that humans could create, adapt, and thrive, even in a high-tech world filled with AI. But it wasn't just the machines that made the city work, it was the people. Their creativity, their intuition, and their ability to trust and connect with each other. Eli realized that this was the essence of being human. And now, he had found someone who shared that vision. Someone who challenged him, inspired him, and made him better. As the sun dipped below the skyline, casting long shadows and painting the city in golden hues, Eli and Lyra stood on a rooftop, looking out over the city they had helped improve. The intuition interface was a success, but the real triumph was the partnership they had forged, one built on respect, trust, and shared growth. Eli took a deep breath. Whatever comes next, we face it together. Lyra nodded, her hand brushing against his. Together. And in that moment, as the city pulsed with life below them, Eli knew that this was only the beginning. Challenges would come, obstacles would appear, and the future would remain uncertain. But they had something stronger than fear or doubt. They had each other. And the knowledge that human ingenuity, intuition, and connection could overcome any challenge. As night settled over Neo Arcadia, the city's lights twinkled like stars, reflecting the limitless possibilities ahead. Eli and Lyra walked hand in hand, ready to face whatever the future held, together. For Eli, the blind date had been the start of a journey, one that taught him about trust, collaboration, and the unique power of being human. And as he looked at Lyra, he realized that sometimes the most unexpected beginnings could lead to the most extraordinary endings. They had chosen to trust each other. They had chosen to embrace the unknown. And they had chosen a future filled with hope, connection, and endless possibilities.